Now, the blues, they say, are about sadness. Guitarist Andy Gunn from Inverness has had his fair share. He was born haemophiliac, and from that came HIV and hepatitis C. After that, he was blighted by addiction. He spent 4 years in and out of a mental hospital. He succumbed to cancer, and he had a heart attack. But he's an amazingly highly rated guitarist, and he's known as one of the best around. He's got a new album out today. I spoke to him, and he told me more about his life.
It's an album that we recorded live in 2 days in the studio, just south of Edinburgh, and I kind of took a different approach for this album.
When I was a little boy, at the age of 13, said I heard a sound, and it was like a dream. That's when the blues got a hold of me.
I just thought I'll go in and just sort of try and capture the band performing live, and even if it's got like little imperfections or whatever, the fact that there's kind of an interaction and a performance captured, that's what I really wanted, and I think we got that. We got a good kind of natural sounding album. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you prefer that?
Yeah. Well, that's right. Because with technology, most of the stuff you hear these days is kind of overdubbed and layered, and it's all it's like sometimes quantized, as in like they make the rhythm perfect and auto-tune to make the pitching perfect, and all the rest of that, and you maybe get something technically better, but especially with blues, it's about the interaction between the players, and sort of capturing and it's the gaps that you leave between the notes, and all of that stuff. Just kind of, to me, it sounds more like music when you just go in and play it live. So.
Were you a childhood guitar prodigy?
Well, not really. No, I mean, I suppose I started when I was about 14, I did really kind of immerse myself in it, like every waking moment, like in my breaks in school, and I would get out of home economics or whatever and go to the music department, and so I never learned to cook, but I can play the guitar very good.
I met you at the Orkney Blues Festival, and the unbelievable thing about you is your backstory, isn't it? I mean, most of us have lived pretty ordinary lives, but you are haemophiliac?
That's right, yeah.
And then you got a blood transfusion. When did you get that, and what happened?
Well, it's blood products that we got. So, haemophiliacs, we have to, depending on the severity of the condition, have to have injections all the time of replacement factor 8, it's called, to help the blood clot. So anyway, and I've had that all my life, and probably when I was about 7, I was infected with HIV and Hep C, which wasn't great, so I've been living with that ever since, and it's on occasions it's just about killed me, but I'm somehow survived,
How did that affect your life?
Well, terrible. When I found out when I was 14, I dropped out of school, and I dropped into, I started drinking really heavily, and dropped into the world of alcoholism and addiction, and and I was devastated, and my family were devastated, and terrible, really.
And you were telling me as we sat, and you were trying to teach me some far too complicated guitar parts, that you had a bit of a time in your life where your brain didn't do the right things. What happened?
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a combination of things. Just all the stress of my illnesses, and I had cancer as well, and the treatments for HIV and Hep C. Well, Hep C especially, there's a drug called interferon, which is very harsh, and it's kind of well documented that it affects people mentally very badly. And I had some kind of breakdown, and unfortunately committed a crime, and ended up in trouble with the police, and and I was quite really ashamed about that, and it was a bad period in my life too, so.
But you were in hospital, weren't you, for a long time?
Well, that's right. Yeah. I had to go spend some time, in the mental hospital, and sort of recover from all that and put myself back together.
How long were you there for?
Well, it's one of them things. It's initially you're kind of in the whole time, and then it's like a gradual kind of release. But I mean, the whole process actually kind of took over 4 years, because in the middle I actually had cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is like a Hep C related cancer. So I had to go like in a normal hospital and get all the chemotherapy and all the rest of that. So the whole process took a lot longer. But yeah, it was just one of them things. I had to kind of go through it, and I did everything right. I was, they said I was the model patient and all the rest of it. Because to be honest, I just wanted the hell out of there. And I think I paid my debt to society, and also I've written to the people that affected, and I apologised, and tried to make amends. Because that's part of our, the recovery process that I'm involved in. Recovery from addiction is. Well, there's lots of stages, but one of the stages is, you try to make amends to the people you've maybe hurt in life, So.
And I wonder with you, does that kind of hardships, maybe the wrong word, maybe the throw of the dice, does that reflect in your music? Because you do play guitar a certain way. I've heard millions of guitarists, and you play the guitar in a kind of unique, soulful way. And I know that on top of you, haemophilia, the time in the mental hospital, the time with Hep C, and the time with cancer, you also had a heart attack.
Well, that's right. Yeah, the second time I had cancer, I was very ill, and I had a fever, and I'd kind of blacked out, as in I was walking about, but I don't remember like the 2 weeks kind of leading up to it. And I went to the hospital for tests, and it was whilst I was at the hospital, my heart gave out, and I keeled over and took some kind of heart attack, and they jumped on me and brought me back to life, and and that's it. Then I had to have heart medications, but to be honest, I don't really count that, because I was ill, and I think the mental health drug that they were giving me, they affected my heart as well, and so I kind of like I've stopped smoking, I've went swimming, tried to look after myself a wee bit, and they say my heart is more or less good as new now, So.
Where are you now? I mean, I think one of the songs is called "Too Many Guitars to Give Up Now," which is the perfect title for a blues man.
Well, some people say, how come you love the blues? Well, you're just a kid.
I mean, you've tramped around the world or the country, haven't you? Playing your guitar, playing blues. Where are you now in terms of what you do day to day?
Got too many guitars to give up now. I got too many guitars to give up now.
Well, I just work away at things, and I keep busy, I'm not one for kind of wallowing and self-pity and all that, I just get up and I crack on with things, and I look after my recovery from addiction, I attend meetings and I do service, and readings and prayer and meditation and all that, and I work at my music. Based down in Edinburgh now, and I've got a cracking band here. Yeah, we've recorded this album. I've got another album more or less recorded in the pipeline. We've got these kind of UK tour dates lined up everywhere from Wick down to London. And various festivals. I'm doing a thing at the Fringe this year, where I'm doing like a musical history of electric blues guitar. So we're doing a week's run there. And various other gigs and festivals are coming in. So yeah, just keeping busy and keep on keeping on, as the song says.
Do you know, for a bloke who's had a bit of hardship, you really are playing on, aren't you? I mean, you are really grabbing the guitar, jumping up on stage and doing what you do.
Well, that's right. Everybody's got problems, and everybody's suffered in one way or another in their life. But you just kind of got to make the best of the situation, really, haven't you? Haemophilia and HIV and Hep C are kind of sort of, a lot more than used to be, are kind of treatable conditions to an extent, So I'm in remission from the cancer. So yeah, I'm just sort of cracking on and trying to make the best of a bad job,
How many guitars do you have?
Well, let me see now. I just actually signed an endorsement deal with two companies, Duesenberg in Germany and St. Blues Guitars in Memphis. So that kind of takes it up a couple of guitars as well. I'm not entirely sure, maybe about 10, 11, something like that.
Are they like in America? So you're in America now, are you?
Well, no. Well, there's this company in Memphis called St. Blues Guitars, and they make these really cool little cigar box guitars. I don't know if you've seen the thing, kind of like C6 Steve plays, that type of thing. And anyway, so I was talking to them, and they've offered me kind of like an endorsement deal where, I say I play St. Blues guitars, and they give me guitars.
I got too many guitars to give her now.
That's Andy Gunn. And I bet you see, that's a good wee catchy title I've never heard before. Too many guitars to give up now. Lovely bloke.
How many guitars have you got?
3.
Still too many to give up then.
3 cheap guitars that are easily breakable.